Welcome to the ship that's remaining on the same platforms. It's the Redenbacher. I'm your captain, Matt Murphy, joined by Commander Ben Bullerwell. How's it going, Ben?
It's going pretty well, man. I'm doing fine. I like that opener, bro. That's really funny. How are you doing?
Good. And we're not throwing shade. I mean, obviously, I love the Orville, but we're going to talk about the San Diego Comic Con 2019 Orville panel on this podcast, and there was a lot more controversy than I think they thought they would get. We're going to talk about the big Hulu announcement as well as other things we learned from the panel.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good stuff, some really good stuff, some kind of strange stuff. But yeah, let's dive in, brother.
Yeah, so I noticed on Saturday night that we saw that Jay Lee was live streaming the panel. So was Chad L. Coleman, and that was great of them to live stream it for all of us that couldn't make it to San Diego. That was nice, and I'm sure everyone had a lot of fun at the panel itself. But I love seeing the Orville cast, getting to bathe in the warship from the fantastic show that they made.
Obviously, getting to see the live stream is super awesome because I know I didn't make it to San Diego.
Yeah, so at the start of the panel, Seth announced that the show is moving to Hulu, and there's been a lot of talk about that over the internet. I think that was like the biggest takeaway from this whole panel because they didn't really have a teaser to show because production just started like this week or like not enough time to produce anything resembling a teaser. So they were kind of had a hand tied behind their back where everyone else had these really cool trailers to show off and they just kind of have to talk about answering questions and a move to Hulu, which for a lot of people really sucks. For many people, it's a fantastic news because the Orville gets more freedom, but it's definitely caused somewhat of like a civil war among the fans.
I was reading an article about the Hulu swap, and I saw like this very little GIF, and it was just kind of Ed nodding, and it was like a Hulu original. I didn't really check the source of that. It was probably just like a fan made from
No, I think
something.
that's like legit. I've seen that around. I
Okay.
think that's like the official photo of like Hulu presents. And I hate it. It's like a Hulu program. It's like it's not a Hulu original or whatever. It's basically like you pay for the production of it, but the first two seasons, it's very much a Fox show.
It's kind of like they're trying to take credit for it. Like I saw something very similar in, I believe it's in on Netflix in the States, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they have Star Trek Discovery season 2 or something as like an original,
They pay for the production, but it's very much a CBS property.
much like Hulu is funding season 3 of the Orville. But Hulu didn't have anything to really do with it. They just kind of took it under their wing and financially provided, which
No.
is great, but you can't
Mm.
really call it an original.
The way a lot of people see the situation is that Fox basically could have easily canceled the Orville there, and it almost looks like Seth negotiated this way for Hulu to pick it up and not to be and for the show not to be canceled. It kind of feels like that, and I feel like all of this grief could have been completely evaporated, or mostly, if they just said that the show's renewed for season three. And it will be on Hulu. Just announce those two things at the same time, because then people will be like, okay, well, I thought the show was getting canceled. At least it's existing in some further format. But when it says it's renewed, we're just assuming it's going to be on Fox. So you're giving us this change that was kind of like unexpected. And for international viewers like Ben and myself, we hope it's going to be on the same platforms, and I'm pretty sure it will be, but it still kind of leaves it up in the air for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, if you're like a citizen of the United States, I mean, you probably already have Hulu if you're into like big streaming services like that. So it's not a big deal to us. Like we don't have access to Hulu, so we're gonna hope that it's still accessible by traditional means. I haven't been able to find anything about like season 3 of the Orville in Canada. I kind of briefly looked at it because I Hulu's not available to us. I couldn't find anything that it would be like, partnered with blah blah blah. Like right now, seasons 1 and 2 are you can purchase them through the Google Play Store, I believe, or you can purchase it via YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube for a premium fee. But yeah, so I mean, we're obviously gonna still get the show in some means, but we don't really know how we're going to be viewing it here in Canada.
Yeah, we're focusing on the cons a lot here, but I think there obviously are pros, like Seth saying that they can basically almost make like a mini movie with each episode. They can do whatever length they want the episodes. They don't have to fit 42 minutes. They can have episodes run long or go short if they want to. And I think they can probably swear more and do whatever kind of content they want. And it might give them a bigger budget as well.
I believe like Fox was concerned because Seth said that he wouldn't have the show ready until mid 2020, and they were kind of they want to fill up their blocks for all their television. So like anyway, it will be good. It'll give him the time, and I believe he's gotten like a quite a bit better budget with it now.
Yeah.
Like you say, it'll give him the freedom to be able to not have to just cut an episode at like 45 minutes, be like, that's a wrap, like that's all we have time for. Like, um, there was a quote by Seth, I believe, and he said something like he's trying to bring kind of like a cinematic experience to each episode, like you were saying. So yeah, it'll be super cool to see what he does, what the whole team does with that kind of extended freedom.
It's true. I'm excited for the show itself. I think that this is a plus for sure. The show's already on Hulu, so it's not like it's going to be there for new eyes. But for the show itself, for the storytelling, and for the freedom, this is fantastic for the creators. And it's good for the creators and gives them a better environment. It's good for the fans long term.
Absolutely.
It's complicated because I've seen on the Facebook page, right? They said that it's still going to stay on Viceland or whatever network it is in Australia. So Australians can rest assured that it's going to stay on the same network, and I hope that it's the same for the rest of the world. I hope that here in Canada we get it on City or maybe Space. I think Space they have Star Trek Discovery, which is our version of sci-fi, and they let the episodes run as long as they are. If they're like a minute, if they're an hour 20 or whatever, they let them go. So I think Space might be okay for that, and that would be great here. And I hope that other networks around there show the full episodes in their entirety as opposed to maybe shortening them or who knows what.
Yeah, that's kind of like a radio edit or something of like a long song to cut down. That would be really disappointing.
Yeah, I think a big issue for the big Hulu move for a lot of people is like for me and Ben, it's like we're not paying extra money. We're not going to be paying for an extra online service to get something, right? So it's fine with us. But if you're in America, people are like, I don't want to spend get an extra streaming service just for one show, which I can understand that. And then there's people that are being, quite frankly, douchebags. I know that's harsh language, but they're just making memes going like, oh, don't go spending $6 at McDonald's if you don't want to spend $6 on on Hulu. It's just like, don't go into people's financials right now. Like, you don't know. There's people who have a family, maybe just pay for cable, and that's all they want to do, and which is a little more expensive. But either way, they're people who have budgeted their lives and would rather watch a great show on the same network.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an inconvenience. I mean, you think about all the different streaming services out there now. Netflix is obviously a very big one, but you think about like Hulu and Crave, and you think about like HBO and Disney Plus, and like there's so many services. It is definitely inconvenient if you were relying on just like cable television and you always had access to it. But yeah, I guess like a lot of people, these people posting memes are like, oh, $6 isn't a lot of money. But it's not really like the amount of money isn't really an issue. It's that you're going to have to go out and do a new subscription, start a new thing. It's not accessible where it once was. It's an inconvenience. It's not that $6 might break the bank, but it's just it's a pain in the ass, really, is what it is, to be blunt.
It goes back to what I said earlier. I feel like if they just said the show Orville will continue on Hulu, if they announced it with the renewal, I think that most of our problems are gone. But people just don't like change in general, and if you just drop this on them, that's like, hey, it won't be on the same place, then it's a bit of an annoyance. But you know what? I'll pay for it if they stream it exclusively, like on the like TV screen on a refrigerator at Best Buy. I'll be there with bells on. So whatever has to be done. But I do think that Seth announced at the beginning of the panel to kind of rip the Band-Aid off because I think they might know that not everyone wants to hop to a streaming service for something that they were getting regularly. But I think in the long term this will be good news, and I think that this will be something we laugh about in a couple of years.
Yeah, ultimately, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Like we say, like it's probably best for the Orville to kind of I guess not get away from Fox, because Fox has been a great partner for Seth for a very long time. But just I think Hulu will be a good option for them. It might take a little getting used to for people at first, but I mean,
we're already paying $5.50 a month just to read the comic, just to read the paper form of it, which is fantastic. So, for my favorite franchise, yeah, I'll spend the extra money. Not that I will have to, but I would if I was someone that had to get it on Hulu. And yes, it's unfortunate. And I know there's people out there with families, but I think this might be for the greater good.
Ultimately, like, yeah, it's a nuisance to have to make the jump. But guys, I mean, this is such a fantastic show. Like, is it really hard to justify?
Yeah.
Like, if the fan base is there, they will follow the Orville wherever it goes.
Like, I'll mention The Expanse again. The Expanse was canceled after season 2, and then Amazon Prime bought it and then started showing on Amazon Prime. You had to pay for a streaming service for it, but it's great that it was there. So literally, if it was like announced at the same time, I think people would be like, yes, Hulu, woo, Hulu, they saved the show, right? As opposed to, oh, I gotta pay for Hulu. So literally, just the timing, I think, really would have saved this whole thing.
No, you're actually right. Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right on that. Like the Orville season 3, like, sponsored by, hosted by Hulu. Like
Right?
you'd be like, "Oh, huh. Okay." And it'd be old news by now. But
Anyways, we'll move on from the Hulu topic. I mean, it's going to be talked about, I think, for weeks to come here. And whatever you think about it, let us know in the comments. Are we right? Are we wrong? Is it wrong to go to Hulu? Are you excited for the Hulu move? Let us know on Twitter or on Facebook, wherever you check us out. At the Redenbacher on Twitter, there we just hit 110 followers, so we're moving up in the world. So if you want to get back on us, we're pretty active on Twitter as well as our Instagram there at the Redenbacher.
absolutely.
So yeah, let's move on to some more positive stuff. Let's talk about more of the panel itself. There was a lot of great questions asked to the cast members and stuff like that after Seth announced the move to Hulu. Comicbook.com has a great synopsis or has a great summary of the panel, and questions were asked about Adrian Palicki's portrayal of two different versions of Commander Grayson, which was cool. She mentioned that she had to memorize the entire script. So like I can't even. It's hard enough just like taking notes podcasting about that episode, let alone playing both roles and having to be two different versions of the same person. Like kudos to her. She got a Saturn Award nomination and she deserved it. I think she should have got an Emmy nomination on top of that.
Yeah, I think that's it's pretty amazing. Yeah, like when you really think about it, like obviously we get to see like the finished product, but can you imagine like all the difficulty and like yeah, she had to memorize an entire script. She had to play between herself and the mirrored version of herself. I don't know, like I'd like to see a like behind the scenes on that. I think it would have been a really cool maybe like bonus feature for like a I don't know Blu-ray collector edition or something like that.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty sweet. It'd be nice to see like a behind the scenes kind of view of her portrayal of that. And it's funny. Later on, they were talking. They talked about the Clyde and Bortus relationship, and Chad L. Coleman, who plays Clyde, he says it's tough being part of America's new favorite couple. I love like the tongue-in-cheek kind of thing where he knows a lot of people kind of like get fed up with the Mockless stuff, and like especially Clyden gets so much hate on the internet, rightfully so for a lot of his beliefs and views. But I think that it's a very interesting role that he plays. So I think that Chad L. Coleman's like having fun being kind of like the villainous Mocklin on the ship.
Clyden, he's kind of like an old-fashioned Mocklin. He's kind of got those old views. We see Bortus is coming around being a little bit more like progressive here. But yeah, I think it's super funny.
It's funny. A fan asked McFarlane if they're going to bring anyone else onto the show, any other celebrity appearances, and Seth said that it's on the agenda. They'll definitely be doing that. And it's funny. I noticed on Twitter there that George Takei liked the tweet about the move to Hulu. So I'm going to call it now. I wouldn't be shocked if we got a George Takei cameo.
I will hold you to that because I think that's quite likely actually. But I'd like to see you be right again.
It'd be cool if he was like on a planet and like his catchphrase should be goodbye instead of hello, which is like his traditional George Takei catchphrase.
I would like that.
No, I don't know. It doesn't have to be that way, but either way, it was funny. Another fan asked that if Claire is going to forgive Isaac and for his betrayal, and Seth said that he's confident the season's going to be pretty surprising. He didn't give like a yes or no answer, so who knows what they're going to do with it. This show actually like blew my mind multiple times with season 2, so I think they're going to do what we don't suspect. I mean, they could get back together, or maybe Isaac's going to have like a new girlfriend that's like maybe a robotic species or something.
That would be super cool to find like another like technological life form. I mean, surely the Kalon can't be the only in the universe.
What's also cool is it's been confirmed that Star Trek and Star Wars exist within the universe because Seth confirmed this, and Dr. Finn even referred to Obi-Wan in an earlier episode. So Star Trek exists within their universe. So I'm sure the Orville, like the whole planetary union, they must know that they're very similar to Star Trek and maybe must be like heavily inspired by.
Like that opens like a lot of strange windows for maybe like comic book crossovers or.
Yeah, it could be pretty cool. And another thing that's interesting is Seth was asked if there's any spin-offs planned, and he said that he hopes the series goes long enough for that. However, he would love to do 1 to 2 movies, which would be amazing. To see the Orville in theaters on the big screen would be phenomenal. And I think that if it's anything like Identity and The Road Not Taken, give me as many movies as you can make.
Yeah, I would very much love to see a couple Orville films. I'd love to see it on the big screen, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
popcorn in hand.
exactly. Maybe some Redenbacher popcorn would be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Another thing is that McFarlane was asked if they're going to do a musical episode. I've seen this bandied about in the Orville Facebook page. He says he does not know how it could work, but and that there has to be a reason for it. That's my statement on it too. I'm not huge on musical episodes, although not all musical episodes have Scott Grimes. So like that's the biggest selling point for me. And like I like Seth singing as well, but not unless it works. Like seriously, I think they're just kind of like played out musical episodes myself.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan for musicals either. Musical episodes. I prefer not to see one really. That's just me though. If you guys disagree, tell me why you're right in the comments if you'd like.
The only reason the only kind of musical episode I would be not like a whole musical, but maybe like Gordon or someone on the crew is in a musical in the simulator and like no one cares about it or it gets really mad at them, get mad at them. That'd be okay. Where you see like clips of the musical in the background, like there you go, there's your musical episode, but no actual musical. I think that'd be funny.
It'd be interesting, kind of like in the Next Generation when Data has like he does like the poetry about his cat Spot. It'd be fun to see something like that with Isaac. But like I don't know. Because it's true though, even on that episode of the Next Generation, no one really cared. Everyone's sitting there like pretty sure Riker was like falling asleep.
Well, but everyone was excited about seeing Thai Symphony there or Thai playing the piano there. So
That's true.
it'd be very similar where it'd be a nice little like polar opposite episode where everyone's excited and then everyone's like, whatever, Gordon, who cares if he can play the piano or sing, even though the whole world is like loves Scott Grimes' lovely voice there.
Absolutely, and we've actually had like some pretty musical moments within the show. I mean, the episode with I forget what the orchestra was called, but the orchestra was in the loading bay there. Ty's recital, like you say. Scott Grimes, he was singing in, I forget what the episode was.
Identity Part 1, he sang to Isaac, sang him off.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Scott Grimes is my favorite person to watch at a panel, period, because he's always saying he did the song from American Dad at a panel that I frequently watch on YouTube. He's a legend. Can't not love Scott Grimes.
So I mean, I don't know. I like how they do it with their musical sections now, just kind of like a scene or two, not like an entire musical.
I think they perfectly incorporate music into the show as is. If there's a better way to do it, though, I'd like to see it. So I'll leave it to the experts.
Yeah, I guess it's in their hands and they know what they're doing. So we'll see. If we see it, we see it. If we don't.
And we started off being a little negative about the Hulu move, but I do think that Tom Constantino and the rest of the crew and some people from the Planetary Union Network, they did a great job putting on the Orville experience, and everyone looked elated from that. And I think that's a really cool thing that they did, and it definitely like makes up for not having anything to show off at the panel, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think it was super duper cool. Yeah, I like getting to see some of that stuff, like behind the scenes almost. Not really, but like just like the phasers. It's not called a phaser.
It's called the pulsar, I think.
Pulsar.
They had the pulsar and stuff, and what was cool is I like how they had Krill and Mocklins like walking through the stage floor there around Comic-Con, which is cool. It reminds me of a lot when you see sometimes they have stormtroopers marching for like the battalion or whatever fleet, whatever they call themselves. There's like a specific name for the people that cosplay as it, and that's cool. And I think it's a really good way to get the brand out there. When people are at Comic-Con going, "What the hell are those things?" They might go, "Oh yeah, that's from the Orville. You should check the show out. It's really awesome." So I think it's good advertising for the show.
No, totally. I saw like a photo on Instagram, and it was 3 Krill just like chilling. I was like, that's super cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I hope next year they bring some Kalon as well, so we'll have like a triple threat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I noticed on Twitter, Lex Caster there, he's at Good Natured Villain on Twitter. He tweeted a video showing him walking onto the Fox lot. So it looks like production, or at least pre-production, is well underway for this season of the Orville, or season 3. So I don't care if it takes a year and a half, as long as it's good. That's my view.
No, totally. I would much rather have a wait and have a good final product than just kind of have things being rushed. The Orville has not disappointed me yet, so yeah, just let them take their time, and when it happens, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be later in 2020 than we thought than fall. I mentioned that on the last podcast. So, I mean, that's like an extra 2 or 3 months to me, which is like okay on top of a year and a half, right? We're getting comics already. So we have 4 comics planned. If people support it, we could very well get 4 to 8 comics, maybe even like a 12 issue series next year that will really help pull the weight. and even if it's still a story between season 2 and 3, we can even get like a precursor to what's going to happen in season 3. So support the comics. We always have the first 2 seasons to watch. We've got almost 30 episodes of the Orville to enjoy. So we can wait till then.
Yeah, absolutely. I would very much like to see a continuation of comics rather, sorry, of season 2.5, like an introduction to season 3. It would be a good thing to kind of hold over the weight. Yeah. I mean, I think it would be swell.
I still really want that like Kalon prequel, or it'd be sweet if they saved the whole Kalon rise and fall of Kalon for like a movie showing how the whoever made the Kalon, how they fell. That'd be a really cool thing to show in comic form or in the movie. So I'd love to see it. There's plenty of stories they can tell in this universe. So let's just give it time. And now that it's on Hulu, it's officially on Hulu, renewal might come quicker and they can go into production for season 4 faster. So I think it'll be beneficial.
Yeah, you know what? I think Hulu might just be what we needed all this time, and we didn't know.
Yeah, or we can't even get Hulu, and us Canadians are going, yeah, I'm sure it's great. I saw a great meme of Kent Brockman going, I for one welcome our new overlords or whatever, our new intergalactic overlords. So that was a great one, and I even made poke fun at myself with the Krill on Instagram making memes. So you know what? Just be happy that we're getting more Orville. I mean, I remember a few months ago, not just be happy. I'm not telling you what to be happy about, but I remember 3 months ago when we're like, is there going to be a season 3? So there's a season 3. It's coming. Might have to pay $6 for it. I might have to pay or more, if you want to watch it as it drops on Hulu. But I don't know. I think that honestly, for me, it's a small price to pay for the show getting a future.
Yeah, I remember the anxiety that was waiting to know if season 3 was coming or not. So I mean, come on, guys, lighten up. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, and also shout out to Orville Games. The Orville simulator is dropping on the 23rd of July. Be sure to check that out on Steam. Me and Ben are going to live stream it, I think, once I come up to Toronto next month. So check out that game on Steam. Definitely support fans of the Orville and their creations because they're making some awesome stuff out there.
Absolutely, guys. You can get ready because we're definitely going to be streaming that. Details will be coming shortly. We'll keep you guys posted when, things get figured out. And we'll let you know on maybe Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, future episodes.
Yeah, and for more thoughts and our views on the Orville, check out the Redenbacher on YouTube. Subscribe if you like what you heard, like our videos. Just let us know what topics you enjoy, and hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at the Redenbacher for our words and our photos and memes and whatnot. And our platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all the rest, Podbean, all that jazz. It's fantastic. We'd love to hear from you. And you've been fantastic online. We love hearing from all our fans like Josh Reed and Galaxy Rocks and, and Fancy Mon. A bunch of people out there have been fantastic to us. And, the feeling's mutual.
Absolutely, guys. We love you as much as you love us.
And with that, from the Junior Mint Nebula, for Ben Bullerwell, this is Matt Murphy, signing off.